Hello everyone, welcome to another lesson of peace education. Last time we have discussed lesson number 5 and it focuses about being grateful of care and kindness. So this time we will proceed to lesson number 6 and this one is entitled Considerations for the Benefit of Others. But before we start, I have a question. When was the last time you give care to others or you give some considerations to other people? Is there any situation or instances that you give care or consideration to other people? When was the last time? Now for today, we are going to have first this opening story about, yes, this man, okay, a blind man, walked along the road with a bucket on his head at night and a lamp in one hand. The man who ran into him noticed that he was blind and asked, "It's really weird. Why are you carrying a lamp when you can't even see?" Then he said, "Not to make you bump into me. This lamp is not for me, it's for you." So in this very short story, we have seen how the blind man became so considerate of other people that despite of his like blindness, he still managed to think of other people. How about us? How do we consider or give care to other people? To what extent? Now in this lesson, we're going to focus about consideration. And this one is the heart of helping or caring for another. We also tackle about empathy or to feel the same about other people's feelings, opinions, and arguments. Empathy is the skill to understand the situation and feelings of other people. Now, let's have exploration number 1. Why do we need to be considerate? There are obstacles to be considerate. So definitely the main reason is lack of communal spirit. So take a look at this picture. I know you are familiar with this one. Can you analyze what is being implied by the picture in front of you? Yes. The two person or the two people on the lower part is like trying to, yes, to remove the water that is getting into the boat because there's a hole on their side. Well, the two other people is just looking at them because they are thinking that on their side there is no any hole. All right. But in the end of the story, we know that the boat will like sink if the water will continuously what? Yes, getting into the boat. And the whole boat will sink. Okay, so everyone is affected. Why? What is the main reason? There is no communal spirit. There is no community. Because when we talk about community, there should be understanding. Other people should help other people who are like in need. They need to be considerate and are giving care to other people. Okay, so what we need there is a communal spirit, but actually it's lacking in the picture, and that is the obstacle in getting what? Yes, the getting the um, consideration. I mean, practicing being considerate to other people. Now, let's proceed to point number 2, beginning the character of peace. Now, how we will begin the character of peace? Do not look at too broad, perspective. Just look at the simplest way we can do. Just like what we can see in the picture, right? By just sharing whatever we had. Anything, even a simple thing. Giving our chair, for example, to somebody who is in need. Most especially if we are like, for example, the most common example we can give is when we are like riding on a bus, and then someone is needing, especially elderly or pregnant women, so we can give our seat to them. So that is one way of what? Considering or giving caring or care to other people. Okay? So as simple as that. So definitely why we are, giving care and why we are so considerate to other people, because still, as what we have on our past lesson, this is because of love. Okay? Now let's proceed to exploration number two, the benefits and examples of consideration. Now, the best example that we can give here is Mother Teresa, and the other one is Dr. Howard Kelly. Okay, so how Mother Teresa like showcases being considerate and how she cared for other people despite of her situation. So I want you to watch this video.
Mother Teresa, to me, an icon of compassionate care for the poor and the disadvantaged.
Mother Teresa was baptized Agnes Gonja Boyajiu in Skopje, Macedonia around August 26, 1910. Born of Albanian descent, she joined the Loreto Sisters of Dublin, Ireland at the age of 18 and took the name Sister Mary Teresa.
One of the reasons some religious members take on new names, they have a favorite saint or they have someone who embodies for them a vision. Like Pope Francis, it's Francis of Assisi.
In 1931, Mother Teresa traveled to Calcutta, India to teach at an all-girls high school. But on September 10, 1946, a second calling from Christ led Mother Teresa to leave her convent and devote herself to working with the poorest of the poor. With Vatican permission, in 1950, Mother Teresa created the Missionaries of Charity.
Mother Teresa is one of the great humanitarians of the 20th century because of her ability to love those who were the most vulnerable in society. The work she did in India really challenged entrenched notions of caste and gender roles, and she worked very closely with lepers and other people who were disenfranchised, marginalized, dispossessed.
During the 60s, Mother Teresa opened hospices, orphanages, and leper houses all over India, and later expanded internationally. In 1982, during the siege of Beirut, Mother Teresa traveled through a war zone to evacuate 37 children, and later assisted radiation victims at Chernobyl and earthquake victims in Armenia.
Mother Teresa cares about people. She recognizes their spiritual dignity. She takes care of not just their spiritual needs, but their bodily needs as well. And she gathers other people to help her do that. That, in my mind, is a good humanitarian.
In 1979, Mother Teresa was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize and donated the $192,000 prize fund to the poor in India. 6 years later, President Ronald Reagan awarded her with a Presidential Medal of Freedom. By 1986, Mother Teresa operated 517 missions in more than 100 countries.
A very charismatic nun, this little old nun with the wrinkled face and the very simple white sari, caring for the dying on the street, people that have so little hope. That's one of the reasons that she was given the Nobel Prize.
After years of suffering from heart, lung, and kidney problems, Mother Teresa died on September 5, 1997. 2 years later, Pope John Paul II opened a formal process toward beatification to make Mother Teresa an official Catholic saint.
So that's it. So that's the story of Mother Teresa. So have we seen? Were you able to, cite the act of kindness shown by Mother Teresa on the video that we have watched? Yes, definitely this nun has the heart actually to many people. So Mother Teresa, yes, she passed away already, but many authors came from all over the world to honor her noble life. So an editorial actually introduced an article in which Ivy League students filled an auditorium to listen to a very small and humble nun's lecture. So many famous people had already shined in this auditorium, but Mother Teresa was first to fill the venue to a point where the audience did not have a place to stand. So students gathered with awe and respect to her. Okay, the lecturer was a small, old woman who had no fortune or a title in a big company. This woman did not make food, actually, did not make food to feed everyone in the world, nor did she form the United Nations for world peace. She only took interest in each person she encountered, showered them with love, and cared for them with all of her heart, right? So according to her, I never look at the masses as my responsibility. I look at the individual. I can love only one person at a time. I can feed only one person at a time, and then just one became two, and then three, four, and so on. And then after all, she showed the world is not achievement of taking responsibility over masses, but the noblest form of consideration that can be seen in our daily lives. So she took interest in each and every person she encountered, worried and cared for them with all her heart, and ultimately her love and sincerity had touched everyone in the world, right? So that is the beautiful story of Mother Teresa. And another story that I will share to you is um actually the story of, yes, the other person, which is, okay, let's go there. Okay, yeah, he is Dr. Howard Kelly. Okay, and his story is like something to do with one glass of milk. Okay, so I'm going to show a video about this person. So let us watch this one. Right. So that's the story of Dr. Howard Kelly, and that is a true story. And in that video, we have seen how the small things or small care given to, someone, actually, it is a chain reaction. They actually, they are not asking anything in return, but the person who received the care will actually what? In his way, will pay back whatever the woman gave to him. That is why, because of the glass of milk, the whole bill of the woman in the hospital was paid. And that's how, right? I mean, the fruit of being considerate and giving care to other people also resulted to what? Same care and consideration also. So that's how being considerate and giving care to other people really important, most especially in our world today. But if you're going to imagine or going to think about it, it seems that it's hard to give, especially in this era. But we need to look for it in our heart, how to at least give a simple care and consideration to other people. All right. So let's continue. All right. So these two people that we have seen here, Mother Teresa and Dr. Howard Kelly, is the best example that how consideration touches people's heart. Okay, that's point number one. And the point number, I mean, we'll proceed to exploration number three, the application and practice of consideration. Now, same thing with gratefulness, we need to practice and we need to apply the act of consideration. So how? So point one, we need to think of other people's situation and position. So we need to uh, put ourselves in their position. We need to understand why they are behaving the way they do, why they are like that. So we don't judge them. Don't judge them easily because of their behavior, but we need to understand why they are behaving that way, and we need to try to put ourselves in their position, and that way we can understand them. That is why understanding other minds is important. Understanding or trying to understand, meaning we are trying to experience other people's perspective for us to know where these people coming from, why they are behaving or acting like that. So we don't what? Judge easily, but we understand these people. That's how we give consideration and care, right? So let's watch this short video about this one, how to understand others. So let us watch this.
Fitting in is a hard task sometimes, especially when coming to a new and completely unknown environment. Also, meeting new people can be stressful and not everyone enjoys it as much. Why? Usually because they care maybe too much about their image or are seriously afraid to be disappointed once again. You can take care of both things yourself. Working on self-image is all about your perception of self, and I address this issue in this video. But that hurtful experience of being disappointed by people can go away too. Everyone is emotional. This does depend on the culture where one comes from, but everyone was or is being hurt. Some people don't seem that emotional because they were hurt in the past and have developed a self-defense mechanism that makes them look cold. If people are approachable, we should be approachable as well. If they're not, there's something that's not letting them to be. So, if we want to form a relationship with someone who's not that approachable, we should think of changing our approach. We all have our individual problems and upsets that are normally contained. You don't need to call people out on their private deception, but being sensitive to those underlying currents gives you an advantage in trying to help. People are lonely. Yes, this does seem like I'm generalizing, but technically people are social beings made to be with each other. And not being alone feels really good to most of the planet, so yes, With everything we have today, smartphones, laptops, drones, people are more lonely than ever. Being lonely is quite a burden, so remember that you don't know how lonely the person you're talking to is and the size of their burden. So act accordingly because they don't know your background either. My approach to people includes a lot of listening and less talking. Because when you listen, you're able to hear what people have to say and what makes them who they are. Then I'm able to understand more their acts even if I don't like them. It's very easy to assume and judge in advance, so hear them out before making a judgment. I had a friend who used to speak her mind before thinking, very directly and without any censorship, which I found hurtful and offensive. Once I decided to do the same thing to her, which made her feel angry and offended as well. She did something to others that she didn't enjoy herself, and this is a big lesson. Don't do things to others that you don't want to go through yourself. Think before you speak and think how will that make the other one feel. Because people pay attention to what matters to them, not to you. So in start, you can't know what is important to that person, so you should think before you speak. Think more about what will you say and not about an advice to give. Use examples of your own to make a point, not of other person. Listen carefully and acknowledge. Always have in mind that everybody has a story behind that made them who they are today, and that you don't know it. Care about understanding others, and you will. Always remember, peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding.
That's it. So that's how we understand people. Okay. So by listening to them, by knowing where they're coming from. Okay. And there's where, and if we know how to listen, we understand. And if we understand, we care this to these people. And if we care, and I mean, together with care is being considerate. All right. And through that, definitely will achieve peace. We'll have peace of mind. And at the same time, we have peace in the community where we're living in. At the same time, we are like, be the good example of, a person who is considerate and giving care. And many people will actually what? Look up to you. And definitely it's a chain reaction. The positivity will actually be transferred to other people. And definitely it can actually transform the whole community, beginning from one or the individual to individual, and then to other people, and then the whole community, right? So that's the thing that we need to do. What is that? Definitely to listen. Okay, we need also to think first of the situation and position of others. As what I'm saying a while ago, being considerate is that we look at their situation, we think whether are like that. Okay, so because when we say consideration, it actually includes tolerance. I mean, it includes seeing others' perspective. Okay, okay, it is self-centered to expect others to understand your situation while seeing others' difficulty as something to overcome. So actually, care begins with an effort to stand in the position of others rather than my own. So you are not just looking your own situation, but most probably it's more of understanding other people. So expand the range of consciousness that was limited only to me, but we need to what? That consciousness should be what? So we need to expand when it comes to when we talk about other people. So place yourself in other people's mind, okay, with thoughts such as, what about the other person's condition? Okay, what if I am in that situation? Okay, and what is difficult about the situation? Like this, so thinking of other person's perspective helps one to respect the other person's heart, and this leads to consideration. Okay, so it's quite it's the journey of being considerate and being so caring at this time of era. It's actually hard, but we need to move forward. We need to step up we need to do something. Okay. So another thing is listen. Listening and sympathizing. So I repeat, listening is important. Sympathizing. So actually neuroscience and psychologists say that empathy can be a social glue that binds people together, okay, and creates a strong commitment to each other. So in addition, societies tend to be more emotionally aware rather than just logical. So thus are able to understand and sympathize with each other. So actually empathy helps us understand and care for other people around us. Okay. So we need to understand their feelings, their emotions. So, I said it's not easy, but we need to do something. We need to step, we need to move, we need to act. Not tomorrow, but today. Okay. So another thing. So we'll continue with this one. Okay. Yeah, that one. So think of other people's situation and position, and then I said listen, understand, sympathize, and you know still listen. Keep on listening. Yeah, this is important. Keep on listening, empathize. Okay. So we will watch another video about this one. So understanding others' perspective.
You've likely heard of the concept of perspective taking, putting yourself in others' shoes. In fact, we learn about the importance of empathizing with others or seeing things from their point of view and empathizing with their feelings from a very early age. Yet at work, we often see the world from one perspective, ours. We lose our focus and sometimes our skill in perspective taking. We have the "here I am" point of view, but too often we don't recognize their point of view. In other words, the world as the other person sees it. How many times have you had an experience like this?
This change is going to be a huge step forward for our business.
This change is going to be a disaster for us.
I don't get why Tanya is so resistant to change. She needs to be more adaptable. Tanya, I think you're missing what a great opportunity this is for us.
Imagine if John and Tanya took a pause and tried to see things from each other's point of view.
It sounds like you're concerned that this change will mean extra work. How can I help?
Thanks, John. I am concerned about that, but I also want to understand the opportunity. Tell me more.
So the next time you find yourself disagreeing with or confused by a colleague's actions, take a pause and ask some questions to better understand where they're coming from. Just like when you were a child, ask yourself what others might be thinking and feeling. You'll be better equipped to understand and address their concerns.
That's right. So that's how we understand others people perspective. Okay. So we need to, try to, reverse what they are thinking. So we need to know why they are behaving that way. So what are their concerns? So we need to talk. We need to communicate. Okay. That's it. So again, that is important to know the perspective of other people, right? Now for conclusion, definitely we talk about consideration, and consideration actually it talks about understanding, empathy, and listening and caring, all these things. And we cannot do this without love. So we need to have first love. Okay. Now, point one, there are obstacles to be considerate, and the beginning of consideration is when we overcome the obstacles. Okay, we need to identify what are the hindrances and we need to overcome them for us to begin to become like considerate. And then benefits, an example of consideration. This is good for our health. When we are like giving care and being considerate to other people, it actually help also us because it makes us what? have the peace of mind, and definitely peace of mind will give us good health, right? And the third one is we don't we walk the talk. It means there should be application, and we need to practice the act of consideration and caring. And through that, we'll achieve the world of peace because each one of us understands other people. Each one. We understand where the person is coming from, and we understand his or her perspective. And through that way, we can actually talk about and build a good relationship. So that's it. So that's the lesson for today about being considerate to other people. So see you next time for another lesson of peace education. Bye.